Okay, so we're over in the dusty part of my Radio Shack at the moment, which clearly needs a dust. Look at the dust on some. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I found a spare seat here, and I saw this beautiful box that's been lying around here for the last few weeks. And I said, oh, do you remember when we did the video of the Hygain 5 that looked a little bit similar to this front? But, you know, it had a bit of a harder life. And let me just finish that story off, by the way. It came from a chap in WA, and I got a million different messages someone trying to, you know, get out of me who it was and, you know, who did the bad thing, blah, 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 etc., etc. And I replied to every one of you to say, hey, there's not a bad person. It's just a bit of a bad understanding of, you know, what was in that radio, just to be very clear. To finish that story, I paid the freight to send it back because I offered to do that. So there's a little bit of a misconception by a couple of my mates who spread the story around that I got ripped off on the freight. No, I didn't. I offered that. And the reason I did that was I wanted to take some of the pressure off him because of the fact that, you know, look, I truly believe he didn't really know 100% how bad this thing was. We you know, he'd been very clear on the fact that a knob was missing and, you know, it needed probably some tunes and work, etc. And it was a mess. But just so you know, he refunded the $180. Full disclosure, I paid $180 for it. He refunded that, and yes, it cost me $20 to get it back to him, which I was happy to do. So, but in that video, I said, but I do want to show you an example of something that is absolutely never leaving here. Well, it will one day, because I'm going to pass away and my wife's going to say, oh yeah. Anyway, let's just have a little look at what I'm talking about. This is not typically legal here in Australia to use per se. I know I get a lot of messages from you guys saying, look, ACMA don't care, ACMA this, that, the other, ACMA, you know, sort of, but, excuse me, but, you know, sort of, I suppose I could support this in one way. I'm just trying to think if I can do it right now. Hang on. Okay. I've been really funny about showing this for years. And I'm just trying to see, is there anyone, no, look, there's nothing here you can't work out. My client number's on public. Anyway, this is back in 2020, and should have read this a bit more. And that's me, and everybody knows, you know, who I am, so there's no big deal. But this is pretty serious. I'm going to be a bit careful what I show you here, but in 2020, keep in mind, this is a warning notice. So this notice to advise you that an Australian Commonwealth ACMA inspector suspects on reasonable grounds part of the act's been broken. Okay, so to be fair, I'm not going to go into all the details because I need to be very, very fair to the people involved here who were good guys, absolutely good guys, no question. But description of the alleged offence: possession, operation, supply of non-standard 27 meg radio equipment. Now, I'm not going to go on and on about this little thing in 2020, but this is the first time I have publicly announced to the world or shown any proof that anything, you know, happened on the day, etc., etc. And I can show you it earlier. Oh, I've got to be careful here. Hang on, I just don't want names to be shown here. Hang on, let me just be very careful how I do this. Right, these breaches each carry penalties of up to $315,000 for corporations, and ACMA may choose to issue infringements. Now, I'm covering up a lot here. You know, sort of. Now, there's some discussion about a scientific license, and of course, I did get that scientific license. There was no question of that. But when I'm just covering up some stuff here, when people say, rubbish, ACMA do not care about CB radio, let me just show you in one foul swoop in April 2020 that they do. They do. And these are some serious things to, you know, to be considered out there, because, you know, I'm going to walk away from this now, but there's been a long time where you know, people have asked me about what actually happened, and I'm never going to really get into completely what happened because it's not important. The message that needs to be remembered here is that a radio like this, unfortunately, even though, you know, I agree, I could use this on 27 megs and just limit my usage to channel 1 to 40. I could, the power on these is, you know, not that far off standard, no big deal. But it doesn't comply. And that's the problem. I've never thought I was going to actually show that bit of paperwork, but I've waited nearly 4 years. No, over 4 years now. So it's June of 2024 now. 4 years ago. And I've not shown that paperwork to anybody publicly. There's a couple of my good friends that have seen it. And there's a couple of people who really, you know, sort of needed to see it because they were pushing the limits themselves. And I said, guys, look, I don't like the position you could be in if, you know, if they were to start imposing these fines. Now, even if the fines were considerably less because you were charged as an individual, so I think considerably less goes down from $305,000 per infraction down to about $60,000. Don't quote me on that. I just, something in my mind makes me think there's a massive difference between a corporation and an individual. But I mean, who wants to pay out 180 grand for having a few CB radios lying around? And anybody knows me knows that, you know, I'm not active on CB radio. I say that, and today you catch me on a console 6 sitting here, not even a microphone plugged into it, but a console 6 sitting here, just listening for propagation on 10 meters, believe it or not. When this thing arcs up and that needle starts going crazy, that tells me to run over to my other bench over there and fire up 10 meters and have a look and see what's going on. Great old radio this, by the way. Thank you very much, David de Kock from South Africa. Both these radios came from South Africa. That's got the box and books, and obviously it's got the books, and there's the radio there, the console 6, and oh look, you know, absolutely. That's my old Motorola badge when we did a collaboration between Illinois and US. You see on there the Motorola bit? I'm trying to remember. Hang on. No, it's not going to really show you much. But yeah, these were given to us up in Singapore, in the office in Singapore, actually, as a collaboration between Motorola and the two countries. Okay, back to this thing. We're not going to talk about ACMA anymore, but please understand that's why I can't put this onto an antenna and transmit. I think I can put it on antenna and receive because I've got an experimental license and I don't intend to transmit on it. But without the experimental license, boy, just be aware, I'm not sure what the situation was. So anyway, all right, now let me show you the more exciting bit, but you know, it's important for you to know that, you know, they're not all rumors about ACMA, and don't ever just think they have no teeth, because I still believe when the new legislation comes out and there's talk of on-the-spot fines, lots of different things, lots of talk, not much sort of being confirmed at the moment, so I don't know. Please don't take this as gospel. But yeah, just know that things are afoot, and we all want to, you know, abide by the law. Sometimes the law can be a prick, because sometimes it can be so stupid that, you know, I mean, this radio is 40 channels, legal power, legal approval. If it's got a slider in it, you know, in the clarifier, does that make me someone who's going to go to court? Well, under the type approval, yeah, it possibly does. Would that happen? I doubt it. I think ACMA are better than that, you know, so you know what I mean. By the way, this radio doesn't have a slider in it. Anyway, David kept this one very standard, so and it's good as an example here to be able to show you, you know, such a beautiful standard radio with dust on it. I'm sorry, David, the dust. And the light's only making it worse. Sam got me this stupid USB fish with a light on. I don't know why. I love it, baby. Just in case you're watching my videos. Let's be clever here. All right, let's open the box. It's taken 9.5 minutes to get to opening the box, but you are going to love this. If you truly love radio for the fact that it's genuine and it's untouched and you know, no matter what the type approval is, this is a great example of just one of the most perfect 2795s I've ever seen. I've got other radios. I have nothing this original This original Hygain mic, beautiful. It's all like brand new. I won't even pull this out, but that's all the bracket kit, bracket screws, everything, like new. And let me just turn down our, yeah, that might be a better idea. Sorry, it's probably causing people to have a headache. All right, so that's the Hygain 2795 in the plastic. It's, you know, when I say to you that this is never going to be sold, I need to probably sometimes make it very clear what the situation is here. And I love certain radios. SBE Console 6 on my list of never sell. Sideband 6, never sell. 7850, never sell. You know, there are certain things are on my never sell list. The Stoner, don't know. Stoner might go. I've got a mate of mine that's Stoner crazy, we'll see. See what I mean? Some radios are, you know, they're radios of the heart. Some radios are radios that you sort of have an experience with for a while, and then you decide, well, that was good, and I'm moving over to something else. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's get this plastic off. I'm going to need to break this video for a second. Hang on. Oh, that is just beautiful. I mean, I know it sounds like an orgasm or something, but like, really? No, this is good. It's so cool. A lot of people ask with these Hygain 5s, how did they take a crystal radio and do so much to them? Well, they didn't. And as you can see here, they took a PLL O2A and, excuse me, and they did a few changes to the standard Cybernet board. It's more a Super Panther Mark II board, the black version internally from memory. I'm just trying to have a look here. I haven't had the covers off this. I doubt I will pull the covers off this. I don't want to. It's too nice. But yeah, look, just looking at it, yeah, that looks like the later model Cybernet board. And of course, they had to do. Oh, I see. Yeah, actually, there's quite a couple of little changes here, and they still use a 1969. Yeah, 2166 or 1306, 1307. So this radio is really only, you know, normal legal power. So there's nothing wrong with it there. How they interact with the PLL O2A is definitely not so legal, giving them their high, medium, low. And when we have a closer look, you'll see. Let's have a look here. Come over there. So just having a look. There we go. And here's how they do their FM detection here, through the AN240p. So yeah, there's quite a few changes that you'll see with this thing once you get into it for sure. Okay, so this is down in the workshop on dummy load at the moment, and I got to tell you, oh, that is beautiful. It really is. It really, really is. Just give you a bit of a close-up, just how clean this thing is. Now, in the comments file, we'll send you a free on-air clock. No, they're not clocks. Hang on. Light, not a clock. Righto, now we know what we're talking about. So you get a free on-air light posted to your location anywhere in Australia if you can guess who supplied me this radio. How good is your CB ham radio knowledge? Now, I must ask though, all I want is a first name, and how can I do this? And the initial of the surname. That'll do it perfectly. So, in the comments file, you have a guess, and we'll announce very soon who, and certainly in the comments file, I'll obviously put a note as well. I'll pin a comment, but you have to be the first, and you've got to know your people. Who would have something this clean? You know, like, I don't know that, you know, there's too many people around Australia Sure, I'm one of them, but obviously I'm not the person. Anyway, there you go. That's your goal. Work out. Let's have a look at the radio though. Clean, beautiful, never to be sold radio. Till I die. I always should say that. Till I die. Then okay. You know. And by the way, I have a list for my wife when I pass. There's a lot of radios that won't be sold. Never to be sold. And because they've got names against them of people that I'm gifting them to who have been so good to me over the years. And the strange thing about these people is that they wouldn't want anything. This radio hobby has got some great people in it. It really has. So that's all I'm saying on that. But I certainly have a list of people that Sam knows what to do. So it won't all be auctioned. Whatever's left, you know, probably most of it goes to auction. But and you know, my lifespan, we don't know. Well, it's sort of a little bit difficult to. But you know, as I keep telling everybody, enjoy every day. But so some stuff, just you know, and I hope that the receivers of them get the ultimate pleasure out of, because I've handpicked them for people who I know couldn't afford them, but I also know, you know, they'll never sell them to. All right, so, gee, this has been a bit of a serious, anyway. All right, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2. So, to give you an idea, I'm on FM at the moment, which is illegal in Australia. So, so there's our first problem. While we're on a monitor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's about 14 watts there on AM. So there's actually a lot more power than what I thought, actually. Although sideband probably won't be too much different. They'll probably be around the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. AM, they might have cut that back a bit, I would have thought. Yeah, about 6 watts on AM. Sorry about my monitor at the moment. It is seriously in trouble with that screen. I should have changed it out by now, as far as I've got other monitors that I could put in that location. But I'm waiting on something a bit special that I love. It's a 2670, which is coming down from Queensland. And that's the one I want to put in the position because I love the 2600 series. So anyway, that'll be good. All right. So just to explain, low, medium, high. Low didn't change on the display. And if I can show you on the spec end, I don't know how the world the spec end's going to work, actually. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. Andrew, I need to talk to you about this because there could be something else going on here. Because that's pretty bright for a display there. Maybe something's going on in the... see how the digits aren't looking great, the resolution, but that spectrum display. Anyway, what I'm trying to show you here, here's 27355. When I go to low, obviously goes down to 26 megs. When I go high, it goes up to the high part of 27 megs, which we can clearly see by the display. ACMA, dummy load. Experimental license, dummy load. Anyway. Okay. I get on well with the guys here, by the way. Thank God. But let's have a look. So, as you can see, this is quite a neat little mod because it actually does show, instead of having to get your channel chart out, it does show. So when we get up to channel 64, now I don't know if the statute of limitations can work on this, but I used to talk to a station called Golden Child, and he was the island down the bottom there. Excuse me. Oh, come on, I should know this. Anyway, he was a great guy, and we used to get on channel 64. I don't think I could be sued or done for this. It was about 1980, 79, 78, somewhere around there, 77 even, maybe. So, oh, come on, statute of limitations must have run out on that. And I was running an Expo Phantom communicator with, because it was channel 4. Yeah, it had channel 4 on the display with the 640 KC switch thrown. And that got you there. All right, enough long stories. So pretty much, as you can see, now a little bit disconcerting that a lot of people might think low was actually the normal, 40 channels. So look, I get ACMA's point in one respect. Some of these radios can be deceptive, so people end up transmitting places they shouldn't, or, you know, don't even know they are. Medium is actually the real 35. So low, medium, high. Just remember that if you ever have one of these, that you're not going to hear very much there. This would have covered, obviously, some of the New Zealand, and keep in mind, to do the New Zealand frequencies, you did need the flexible clarification to be able to run yourself around the band a bit. So that's, this radio is gorgeous, isn't it? This video is going to go way too long because of me prattling on about how much I love this radio and ACMA and how much they love me. But anyway, so as you can see, very standard power. So from that point of view, you know, meets standards as far as it's probably no big deal. But yes, the low, medium, high is your big problem, and your FM, which personally I wish they would bring FM into Australia. I think it'd be a great idea. I don't, for CB radio, I don't see why not, to be honest. It's really not a big issue. I just think no one's taken the time to make the change. But, you know, legislation on CB is very, very difficult to work out since they deregulated the whole thing, I suppose. Even ham radio now has got a little bit strange, but anyway. All right, so when we put a signal into this, again, sorry, and we need to get back up off the spec end. All right, let's have a look here. So we've got a signal in there. Go to sideband. So the front one is your, okay, so receive. The rear, even though you can leave it there, that's fine, but as you move that one now, you're moving the transmit frequency as well. And that's quite a drop there. That's probably a good 2.5, 3 kcs there. Maybe not quite that much, actually. See, that's only about maybe 150 hertz there. That sounds like a lot there, because you've lost the tone about there, and you've still got that much. I could actually check that with the analyzer, but as you can see, they do have a way where if you've got that sitting up the top, this works beautifully just as a receive clarifier. Quite smart when you think about it, because then you're only adjusting your transmit frequency if you really need to. And the good thing is that when you're adjusting your transmit, you are adjusting your receive as well on this outside edge. So let's say someone is, 200 hertz down, so we've got to go to there. We go to 20 hertz down, not 200 hertz down. If he's 20 hertz down, we can go to him, but he also doesn't have to do much. You'll both be on the same frequency, so it's like a VFO control. And that's the best way to think of that, VFO control on the outer and RIT control on the on the inner. Anyway, look, I'm going to just quickly hook it up onto an antenna very quickly, because it'd be nice to just have a hear some noise, but I can't transmit. Hang on. Okay, let's just have a little listen to the audio quality. A few signals coming in now. As you know, we only ever hear the skip, so we don't hear anything locally here very much. Let's have a listen around. The band seems to be a little bit open. Unfortunately, we can't get up to 28 megs on this, which I'd love to have that, but see, that's why that should have been low. Medium should have been the other half. That got you into 28 megs. That would have been the perfect radio. Oh, US.
So I was a certified dive master, so I take tourists down there diving with scuba tanks. And then the big tree you're talking about is in Waterloo Gardens.
Oh, I got to give him a call. Only kidding. Only kidding.
And that tree is insured for $10 million by the country of Japan. It's Waterloo Gardens.
Actually, quite a bit coming in from the US. Quite a bit from the US. That makes me wonder, what about down on channel 11? I'm Not on my big beam either, by the way. This is not the 8-element opti-beam on 10 meters. Super Bowl.
And I'll get over there.
Quite a bit of US coming through. Quite amazing.
Shutting down 10-7.
Ah. No. That's a tone. That tone makes a difference. I was actually thinking we might have had a high-low 10kc there, but no. Channel 6 is normally Super Bowl. It's just very quiet. Channel 7 seems to be... Let's go back to 11. Quieten down a bit there. All right, well...
Around 9 units, my friend. You sounded real good with good audio out here around the Wayne.
There's always someone playing around doing something silly, which is a real pity. Wow. I don't like the echo, to be honest. I've got to be honest. But that is exceptional. Beautiful receiver on this. Really is. Go down to 16, nothing there. Pretty quiet these days, 27,155. Back to AM there. No, that's about it. Well,
Okay, I'll try my best. It's about 13 meters by 20 meters. Okay, 13 by 20 meters. I got a steel roof, that big, straight steel. All I got is a tri-mag mount and a 5-foot serial antenna. On top of my steel roof overlooking.
all right, guys. Well, look, I could do that for a long time because the signals are very good at the moment. But hopefully this has been an informative video because it's not only been about a beautiful Hygain 5, a 2795 Hygain 5. It's also been about the first show of the documentation from ACMA from 4 years ago, which we held that back a long time. But, you know, it's important for people to know that, you know, there are some teeth. Be careful. And lastly, if you remember, or sorry, if you get the name right of the person who sold me this radio, if you're the first one in there on the comments file and you get it right, I just need his first name and the initial of his second name. Oh, by the way, the person who sold us, but you can't apply. Good try. We'll be sending you a light, for sale light, not for sale, what are they? On-air light to say thank you. All right. So if you could please like and subscribe, or dislike and subscribe, or subscribe and like and dislike, don't care. Any of those buttons, just click away on those. That would be really fantastic. Thanks. This video went way over time, but there was a lot to cover on this one, and I hope that you'll just be careful over the years to come. I do think changes are afoot, so please be careful out there. Stick to the normal 1 to 40 if you're going to use CB. There's no need to go outside of it, honestly. There's plenty of free channels, as you just saw. All right. It's going well. All right, 73s, guys, thanks very much. This is VK3 Charlie Mike, showing you what is probably the cleanest 2795 I've ever seen. I don't know about you, but I reckon it's up there. It's got to be. Cheers, guys. All the best.